Yo, what up, everybody? I'm Dave Miranda, and this is episode 33 of Just Give Me 5. I hope you guys are doing well, continue to be amazing like I know you are. Got a real awesome show lined up for you today. But I got to give a shout out to my homegirl, Crystal, who owns Early Bird Vegan. It's over on 17th Street and Broadway. And she was kind enough to lace me with one of their teas. Make sure you guys are following them on social media. They got some really great food, man. Even if you're not vegan, trust me, I guarantee you'll enjoy this stuff. So, make sure you follow her. Nothing but love for you, Crystal, and I wish you guys nothing but continued success. All right. If you guys caught episode 32, though, we had none other than the legendary Alex Santamaria. And let me tell you, man, that was a really great episode for so many reasons. I mean, just the stories alone, it's like that guy, and it was so cool what he told us. He got a chance to tell us. He was like, he said, I got to meet everyone that I always wanted to meet except Eddie Murphy. That's the only person that he hasn't met yet, and that's quite an accomplishment, you know what I mean? But he was really good friends with his brother Charlie. Rest in peace to Charlie Murphy. And, it's just, the guy is an absolute gem, is just an icon in Arizona radio, a good human being, and, really honored to have him on the show. So make sure you guys watch episode 32, and nothing but love to Alex. All right. But today's guest is an artist who has continued to stay relevant in the Arizona music scene and beyond for so many years now. I mean, you might have remembered this guy in the early days going by Rugby, and he was along with Chokehold Records at the time. From then he transitioned and started working with the legendary Game and was signed to Black Wall Street. And we're gonna definitely talk about that. Plus we're gonna get into everything he's working on now, because he has a huge record and his buzz is just out of this world. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Richie Evans.
Hey, yo, what up? It's none other than your man, Richie Evans, live and direct, holding it down in Phoenix, Arizona. Make sure you get my new single featuring Vito called For You out right now. Make sure you stay in tune with me and follow your boy's journey. Oh, yeah, and all I'm saying is just give me 5. I was very in tune, very athletic, a very people person, and just very determined for a certain level of success in life, you know what I mean? Like I said, man, I wasn't the best, academic kid in school, but, I got it done. I was a super athlete, as well as a dope artist. So, I was very in tune. It's crazy. I don't really get into the whole basketball, narrative just for the fact that all these artists swear they really can hoop. But if you really check my background, like I was really thorough with it. Went to college, got a basketball scholarship, was recruited by all D1s out. I mean, University of Arizona, ASU, nice. University of New Mexico, University of Washington, the name, the list goes on. But like I said, man, I did get a basketball scholarship. I played at Eastern Arizona College for a few years, and I was going to transfer up to Arizona State. But actually at that particular point was when I was kind of in my transition with my music. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, when it comes to hooping, man, you give me a couple months to lean out, we can make it work. Man, my journey was a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like I said, it started actually when I was in college hooping. You know what I mean? I was in a small town. I used that time not just to work on my skill set as a basketball player, but also even as an artist. I used it kind of as therapy. You know what I mean? Just graduating from high school and really setting out to kind of be your own. I was just still growing. I was in the process of just really, becoming a man. And, I wrote a lot of my emotions on paper, instead of lashing out at the world a little bit. You know what I'm saying? In college is when, like I said, I was going to school for business management, man. And I really started taking not even just the artistry side, but also the business side way serious. So me and my best friend at the time, man, we ended up starting a crew called the CH. It stands for Chokehold Records. You know what I'm saying? You know, some of the little Pell Grant money that I had back then, you know, I used to hire me a little small attorney, you know, in that time. You know, we took like maybe $1,000, you know what I'm saying, and rented out some studio time to really start trying to make some CDs and tapes, you know what I mean? I think we even pressed up like 2,000 from a company called Disc Makers back then. Yeah. You know, we was really doing a lot of groundwork and legwork to really try to solidify, you know, kind of who we were. At that particular time, I went by the name Rugby. You know, it was a play off of, you know, my government name Richie, but it just kind of fit kind of who I was a little bit. Plus, I used to wear rugby polos all the time, and that was kind of like a moniker that kind of followed me. But as time went by, man, like I said, me and my crew, we really started making a serious buzz. You know what I mean? I started getting looks, not just athletic in college, but also the entertainment world. You know what I mean? I had Nelly at the time, you know, reached out. Actually, Teddy Riley was an executive at Interscope at the time. And I think that Blackstreet and a couple other people just went, you know, they was like super multi-platinum, like he was reaching out. So through that time, man, I really had an understanding that some of the work that we was putting in was really starting to get like real recognition, you know what I mean? And I felt like if it was something that I really, really wanted to do, if I really put that 100% time into it the same way that I did for my sports, you know what I'm saying, I can make this work, you know what I mean? So like I said, through that particular time, I moved back up to Phoenix, Arizona, man, and really just started putting that grind down, you know what I mean? And then the next phase of that, meeting one of the major players in the industry, and he goes by the name of The Game. Man, you know, shout out to my big bro Game. You know, Game was in Phoenix, Arizona at the time working on his album, The Doctor's Advocate. There's a producer, you know, goes by the name of Swizz Beatz, you know, DMX and the whole Rough Riders. You know, they end up building a good little foundation out here in Phoenix, Arizona. So Game ended up coming out here actually to work with Swizz Beatz on his album. At that particular time, man, I was, you know, I was working on a mixtape, and the day that I was working on the tape, man, I just kind of didn't have that vibe. I kind of didn't have that same energy that I normally have. So I just told my engineer, hey, do me a favor, burn me a disc. I'm gonna go ahead and go home, man, and, you know, revamp for the night. So on the way home, though, I'm sliding by this club. It's called CB&C. And there was a Lambo out front with the doors up. In the back of my mind, I was like, man, who's in there? And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to slide in here and just get me a drink. So when I slide in, you know what I mean, I see Game and I see Swizz Beatz sitting in the VIP section. You know, at that moment, I think that I was just motivated because I was going through a couple personal things within my life. Right. So at that particular time, I knew that I had one disc on me. I wasn't cool with just giving it to his management or giving it to his security guard, you know what I mean? Anybody who's really pressed the line as an artist, you know, and have done that, it never really got back to the person it needed to get back to. So at that particular moment, I really wasn't with that. I waited a brief moment. I had an opportunity, ran up to him. You know, he looked at me kind of crazy, but I just told him, I was like, hey, man, I'm a kid from Phoenix. I think I'm one of the dopest, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to give this disc to your management or your security. If you throw it away, it's fine. At least I know that you got it. So at that particular point, man, he grabbed the disc. Him and Swizz Beatz left. I got a plane ticket and a phone call the next day, and it was Black Wall Street. I flew to LA, he picked me up. You know what I mean? I was still in shock, like, you know, this is a guy that, you know, I kind of studied from, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I was a fan before anything, you know what I mean? And I think that he was a dope writer, a dope artist, and a dope MC. So for me to be flown to LA and picked up by him and being in his environment was just kind of mind-blowing for a kid who really had those dreams and aspirations. As time went, man, we dropped my bags off, went straight to the studio, literally straight to the studio. I walk in the studio, man, I see Kanye West sitting at the board. About 15 minutes later, Common walks in. You got this kid from Phoenix, Arizona, man, is looking at all these three kings. It was just a real magical moment. As Kanye was actually going through some beats for Game at the time, I knew the Game was gonna ask me to rap. So the whole time that I was on the plane flying to LA, I was kind of memorizing, you know what I'm saying, some of the music that I was writing in my phone. So while at that particular time he was sitting there going through these beats, I was like closing my eyes, kind of going through this little Rain Man mode, and Kanye looks at me and he was like, "Hey, you got something to this beat?" And I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. He was like, "Go in the booth." So, you know, Game looks at me right quick, and the only thing that was going through my mind at the moment was like, I have to make these guys bob their head. I know I got one shot. Like, I felt like Eminem in the whole 8 Mile, lose yourself in the moment situation, but I just knew that this was an opportunity that I had to seize. Either I was gonna seize it or he was gonna fly me back home. So I go to the booth and he starts to beat, and I just start spilling. And I just see Kanye's head nodding. But I see Game just standing there like with no expression on his face. And I was like, "Come on, man, bob your head, brother, bob your head." Yeah. He didn't bob his head. He pressed the button and said, "Hey, come out." And I was like, "Shit, I'm going home." You know what I'm saying? I'm going home. But I walk in there, Kanye's looking at me like, I look at Game, he doesn't say nothing. Yeah. Game walks into the booth, puts the headphones on, and puts a hook on the verse that I just spit. He comes back out, calls his assistant. About 20 minutes later, his assistant comes in, throws me a chain, and he says, "Welcome to Black Wall Street." We end up doing this record, and it ended up becoming my first record under Black Wall Street. It was called Rollin', produced by Kanye West and featuring The Game. You know, that was a real introduction as a Phoenix kid to the world. You know what I mean? It moved kind of fast for me at that time. You know, we dropped the record. Now I'm with Game every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm with him at videos. I'm with him in the studio, helping him create records. You know what I mean? He's taking me on tour. You know, he's really helping me create a real national and international identity. You know, I start being in a lot of the major publications, you know, XXL, Source, and, you know, all those type of things. As all that was kind of happening, you know what I'm saying, my name and my image and my face was growing, but also at that particular time, the structure of the label was decreasing. You know, that was a very critical time when, you know, Game was in a big public feud with one of the biggest artists ever to this date, named 50 Cent. You know what I mean? You know, Game was signed to 50 Cent, and, you know, I don't want to get into it too much, but like I said, their contractual obligations, you know what I'm saying, and things that were kind of going on just kind of affected any and everybody who was signed to that brand. And ultimately, it affected me. I had my album done, you know what I'm saying, but, you know, the relationship was so toxic and the business was so toxic that Interscope really didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? You got two of their biggest brands, G-Unit and Black Wall Street, colliding with each other, you know what I mean, which was ultimately affecting, you know what I'm saying, the money. But like I said, 50 being who he is, and at the time being probably the biggest name in hip hop at that moment, of course he had more power and more sway in that building than anybody. And like I said, at that particular point, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, Black Wall Street had to fold. You know, I was under contract for a while, you know what I mean, a few years after that. You know, the frustration kind of started setting in a little bit because I don't think that the general public really knew what was going on. You know, you start getting criticism like, "Hey, what's up with his album? You know, did he not deliver a solid project?" Or, you know what I'm saying, what's the holdup? But I think that a lot of people got to understand is sometimes when you're signed to another artist, it's necessarily not something that you did. It's just something that the bigger machine, you know, controls, and you either got to ride it out or pay yourself out of that particular situation. So, but like I said, for me, man, you know, I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, Game gave me an opportunity on a global platform, you know what I'm saying? He helped me understand really what this music was about, good and bad. You know, it gave me the motivation and gave me the passion, you know what I'm saying, to thrive where I'm leading to now, you know what I'm saying? And that's just the growth of Richie Evans and the Evans administration. Now, man, I feel like I'm just all in one. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all together just as a man, you know what I'm saying? A lot of growth. people ask me like, hey, you know, well, why'd you end up changing your name from Juice to Richie? It just got to the point to where my vision for myself and my vision for my brand was so big. In order for me to accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish, I felt that I needed to stand on my own. It was similar, kind of like the Kobe and Shaq situation, where, you know, everybody knew when Kobe got drafted to the Lakers, it was Shaq's team. You know what I mean? That was, you know, and Kobe had to play his position until, you know, he was, you know, strong enough and more mature enough to really take on the responsibilities to lead somebody to a championship. And I ultimately felt that's how it was with me and Game. You know, he was, again, one of the biggest names in hip hop, period. I think that through that particular time, you know, I've gained a strong ear to production. I think that, you know, I've gained a solid understanding how to make great bodies of music. I've also felt that watching his successes and his mistakes through this particular journey also showed me, you know, what to do and what not to do, you know what I'm saying, in that particular position. So I went on and, like I said, man, changed my name to Richie Evans, which is my government name. I felt like ain't nothing more realer than the name your mama gave you. You know, we went on the journey to start my company, TEA, the Evans Administration. I revamped my whole business structure. At that particular time, I got out the contract with Game. I signed myself to the Evans Administration, and I felt that if I put in the work and have the particular blueprint at that time, I can have a joint venture with an Interscope or a Warner or Universal or somewhat of that particular sort. So that was the journey. It did take a little bit of time, you know what I'm saying? You know, you got to put in a lot of legwork, you know what I mean? A lot of groundwork to provide the necessary things, even for a label or an imprint to look at you to that magnitude. So, like I said, man, you know, as time went by, I just started recording, fell back a little bit, redid my business structure. And like I said, you look at us now, man, we got the first single, you know what I mean, off of the project called Highly Favored, featuring my guy Vito. I think right now we're number 51 on the urban charts, you know what I'm saying? The Phoenix Suns is thriving, the city's thriving. So I just think it's perfect timing, man, on everything. You know, man, like that's a very humbling feeling, man, to know that, you know, not even just your particular loved ones, but people around the world really respect and appreciate your craft. You know what I mean? It's a very, very humbling feeling. You know, right now, I can't even lie, you know, I see people just vibing to the record, vibing to what we got going on, but to really feel the love is a whole different type of emotion, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's something that really thrives me, man. Like I said, I just appreciate everybody who's, you know, been down and really been supporting and really been respecting the journey, man. And like I said, man, I love everybody who's just supporting what we do. Yeah. You know, I feel that anybody successful, you know what I'm saying, has to have a strong, loving, and respectful team. And for me, you know, none of this is capable, you know what I mean, without the people who thrive and, you know, support everything that I got going on, and that's my team. You know what I mean? I want to shout out TEA, you know what I mean? I want to shout out my man Terrell, shout out my man JFK, Miss Stacy, Mercedes, Brad, Gil, Branson, you know, shout out, you know what I'm saying, Mike Lynn, D-Train, you know what I'm saying, you know, CMO, you know what I mean, Double A, you know what I mean, from anybody who has any type of push in this fight, man. I just appreciate you humbly. I know there are a couple names that I did leave out. Like I said, don't slaughter me with that, but I do love all y'all and I do appreciate y'all. And like I said, man, make sure that everybody stay tuned to your man Richie Evans, because I'm lighting it up all summer and winter. Make sure you get that new single featuring me and Vito called For You. And stay tuned, man. We got a lot coming. You already know. Your man Richie Evans. I'm on.
And there you have it. Nothing but love and respect to my man Richie Evans. I mean, that guy has had a hell of a journey, and he's just a genuine, good human being. You know what I'm saying? And very happy to have him on the show today. And, you know, I just wish you the best, my brother. I really, really do. Make sure you guys are following him on social media. Shout out to my brother Jimmy Nelson on that camera. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All right. Well, this was another one for the books. Really hope you enjoyed this episode and continue to be amazing. Remember, man, when things go wrong, don't go with them. Till next time, stay tuned, stay blessed, stay healthy, and just give me 5, y'all.